P-U-S-H-P-U-S-H. Push, 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 push. P-U-S-H-P-U-S-H. Pray until something happens, happens, happens. Pray until something happens, happens. You gotta push, you gotta push, you gotta, you gotta, you gotta push. Pray until something happens, happens, happens. Pray until something happens, happens. You gotta push, you gotta push, you gotta, you gotta, you gotta. Push it to the limit when it's about my father's business. Prayer is the antidote if you got a sickness. Thank him for this position and that he made me gifted. Reaching for the masses while I spread his word like magic. Adversary lurking and he trying to make a grab quick. So it's up to us to put the armor on and blast quick. The Father's who I serve, so I thank him for his word. And when I'm down and out, he just know how to calm my nerve. Gotta expand the kingdom, fighting for all our freedom, understanding the truth, and that's the real reason. So I move with the spirit and the evil, they fear it. Pray until something happens and I hope they hear it. Pray until something happens, happens, happens. Pray until something happens, happens. You gotta push, you gotta push, you gotta, you gotta, you gotta push. Pray until something happens, happens, happens. Pray until something happens, happens. You gotta push, you gotta push, you gotta, you gotta, you gotta push.
P-U-S-H to the one true living God, the King of my soul, the animals and the skies. It's no longer I who lives with Christ inside. He bare my sins up on that cross and for my soul he died. Now I'm saved and delivered straight bona fide. Wake up in the morning, kill my flesh and spirit comes alive. Pray until something happens, a movement. Jesus Christ is CEO, his Father still moving. Okay. 1 John chapter 5 is approved. Fact, anything we ask, he gives us the assurance. The one true living God, he's a savior. And trust your soul in him and gain life. Philippians 1.
Pray until something happens, happens, happens. Pray until something happens, happens. You gotta push, you gotta push, you gotta, you gotta, you gotta push. Pray until something happens, happens, happens. Pray until something happens, happens. You gotta push, you gotta push, you gotta, you gotta, you gotta. On the block steady jumping, got you in love with money. Get pop, play it cool, acting as a junkie. But tell me how long can you sit there steady frontin'? You get a second chance, though you gotta get something. The dope game is shady, cause these snitches don't went crazy. Thinking of a plan just to provide for your baby. Stuck in his head, you thinking, Lord, please save me. Every day a struggle, going hard, trying to make it. Life is what you make it, don't get it mistaken. Even when I'm down, I'ma rise to the occasion. Good days on the way, I gotta keep my head up. My dog told me, man, I gotta get my bread up. Pray until something happens, happens, happens. Pray until something happens, happens. You gotta push, you gotta push, you gotta, you gotta, you gotta push. Pray until something happens, happens, happens. Pray until something happens, happens. You gotta push, you gotta push, you gotta, you gotta, you gotta push.
There you have it, P-U-S-H. Pray until something happens. 1 John chapter 5, 14 and 15, which says, and this is the confidence that we have in him, that if we ask anything according to his will, we know that he hears us. And if he hears us, we know that we have the request that we've asked of him. It's all about your faith, man. Let's start dropping to our knees more often and being in communion, being in communication with the Father up in heaven. That's what we're commissioned to do, man. And then we're commissioned to get out in these streets and not only sit off in the church and sit in the building, man. Let's get in the streets, man, and let's perform in the Great Commission as they did in the book of Acts. And it's about us getting out and doing the work and moving ourselves out the way, man. Let's allow the Father to do his business.